The Zera Shimshon in Parashat Tetse. What is the eternal deal with the nation of Moav? So the Pasuk says, because of the fact they did not greet you with bread and water on the road when you were leaving Egypt, and because it hired against you Bilam son of Beor. So we see that at the end of the 40 years, the nation of Moav actually did come out and offer the Jewish people bread and water. The Rambam writes that when the Torah says because the fact that they didn't give you bread and water, it talks about the nation of Ammon and Moav. But that's not what we're going to talk about today. And the Maharsha and Masachet Sanhedrin prove differently. That the bread and water was the reason Moav got punished in the future. Why? Because Moav charged Bnei Israel with money. But why should Moav give anything for free? Because it was time for them to repay Avraham Avinu for the many kindness they did with Lot, saving him from captivity, bringing him to Canaan, praying for him that he should be saved from Sodom. Okay, so if you say Moav couldn't give anything for free, there's another complaint against them. It was their time. The time was wrong. Moav should have gone out to offer the Jewish people bread and water right after they left Egypt, when they were starving. For a few days they didn't have food. There was no man at that time, and there was no well of Miriam to give them water. That's when really they should have given them the bread and water, and not 40 years later. So now we're arguing that the timing was wrong. They should have done it right away, not much later. Besides this, they couldn't give anything for free because Bnei Israel were a very big amount of people. There was 600,000 men, and we didn't even mention the women and the children. So that's a big amount to give for free. So if they weren't sure if they're going to pay or not, why did they wait 40 years later in order to offer them? So the answer is, once they saw that Klal Israel paid with money the children of Esav, then they were also willing to help for money. So what is the major complaint against them? And what is the reason that right now they were not allowed to become part of Bnei Israel? Now the Pasuk offers another explanation. The fact that they hired Bilam to curse the Jewish people. Once we knew that they hired someone to curse the Jewish people, now the relationship with Moav is crystal clear. Without hiring someone, they could have argued that they wanted to give bread and water, but they didn't want to give free because they wanted to get money. But that's an okay thing to say. But when the Torah says that Moav could not be part of Klal Yisrael because they went out of the way to hire Bilam, and not only they hired him, they promised him a major amount of money for the job. So now we understand that it's very clear that the reason they didn't offer bread and water was due to their hatred to Bnei Israel, and not because they were concerned about spending the money or about getting money. But of course, after 40 years later, that they did offer them bread and water, they charged Bnei Israel in full. Not because they cared for them, but because they wanted to do business with them and they wanted their money. So this is the whole chidush with all the question and answer of the Zera Shimshon. It's not that easy. That's why I'm sending also the written text so you could understand it. You could bring it to the table and say it in front of your family. And the more we spread the words of the Zera Shimshon and the chidushim, the more the salvation that Bezat Hashem will send us in the zechur of Rav Shimshon Nachmani. Shabbat Shalom u'mevorach.